Prior to being diagnosed, I had never really had any real health problems. I had the normal cold and flu and things like that, that most everybody gets, but I had never had any health problem, as major as the leukemia.
Brad, as it is, he has in the next 5 years, even on remission, there's a 70% chance his leukemia might relapse, in which case he'll go straight to a transplant. It's more striking about this whole situation is the amount of uncertainty. We really don't know what's going to happen to Brad. We don't know if he's going to get another round of chemo. We don't know if they're going to leave things here, or we don't know if he's even going to need a transplant or when.
One day I was downstairs vacuuming our basement. I was just extremely tired and fatigued. I was sweating a lot, and I just couldn't continue. I'd also been having a lot of chest pressure, meaning that when I tried to take a deep breath, I had a lot of pain in my chest.
I always thought inside of me, oh my God, he needs to go into a diet. He has a very high blood pressure. That was the worst I could ever imagine.
So I went to the emergency room at Olathe Medical Center and was given a EKG for my heart, which was fine. There was no problem there. And then I was given an IV, and they drew quite a bit of blood.
I received the phone call, and I remember it said Olathe Medical Center, and I thought, oh, that's funny. Brad went there last night. I didn't really add it up. And it was an ER doctor, and I remember him telling me, we did find something wrong with your husband.
Then she proceeded to send me an email at work letting me know, basically saying that, I needed to come home over lunch that day so that I could go to the hospital to get more blood. And obviously this was a cover story so that I could come home and she could tell me in person as opposed to telling me over the phone the way that she was told over the phone.
It was hard to be in this position in which you're the only one who knows and you have to break the news to everyone.
So I came home from work, and my parents and my wife were here, sitting here in the living room, and I walked in and my wife basically said, have a seat. And at that point I said, no, I'm not going to have a seat. What's going on? Why are you telling me to have a seat? And she said, well, the emergency room doctor called, and they think that you've got leukemia. Thanks to my neighbor, Michelle Park, who works for KU Med, she was able to get us an appointment there at the hospital for a bone marrow biopsy to really make a definitive diagnosis for the leukemia.
So Brad came from Olathe Medical Center, and at that time we saw there are some indications in the blood that we did not like, and it turned out to be leukemia, acute myelogenous leukemia, which is one of the worst kinds of cancers that we deal with day to day. That's what we do. At that time we did a bone marrow, we confirmed the diagnosis and told you all the prognosis, what is going to happen and what's the treatment going to be. So we started the chemotherapy right away, and Brad was in the hospital almost for 3 to 4 weeks at that time with some complications, but he did okay.
Not being able to be with my boys for, I didn't know how long it was going to be. It turned out to be 3.5 weeks, was the hardest thing for me throughout the whole ordeal. It's really difficult on everybody involved, and the kids. They know that I'm sick, but they don't know the details, and they don't know everything, but they do know that I'm sick, and that when I have to go to the hospital or something, that I think that it does definitely get to them. So
it's really hard. It's hard to leave your kids when Brad's at the hospital, but I just don't have the heart to leave Brad alone at the hospital, so I leave them with my in-laws, and it's a tough time for everyone. They suffer a lot.
My wife is my support, my primary support, and has been just absolutely amazing, through the whole thing. Has been at my side, has taken care of me every day, has done, everything, that anyone could do, in a situation like this. She's been absolutely amazing.
You have two little ones that need you, and then you have a husband that needs you too. On the other side, now there's a pressure in which, I probably need to go out and get a job. And sometimes I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's really hard.
The situation is really tough, like you said, because we are both currently out of work, and things are really tight. We are, at this point, essentially we're relying on the generosity of our families, to help us pay the bills and things like that. I have to have insurance. There's just no other way around it. Insurance is obviously expensive. The COBRA insurance is several $100s every month. And not to mention, other bills that, utilities and, the typical bills that people get, on a regular basis. There's some medications that I take, such as potassium, blood pressure medication, antifungal type of medication, antivirals, antibiotics, because what happens with chemotherapy is that your immune system virtually gets wiped out and depleted, because you lose your bone marrow, and so therefore you don't have the normal defenses that you would have, otherwise.
We are going to have to be paying, in theory, $1,200 a month for the four of us. Really, thanks to the government new policy, now the employer has to pay 65% of that during at least 9 months, which puts everything anywhere around $440 a month, I think. And then Brad's going to be also helped individually by the Cancer Center for the next few months, but it's not going to last long. So, after that, then we're going to have to start paying the $1,200. And that's out of pocket? Yeah, that's out of pocket.
It was never my plan in life to get this disease. I never wanted it or asked for it, but it happened. And, I'm doing the best that I can to do everything I can to fight it and try to, come out on the other side and, be a productive person again, and go back to work and things like this.
We are going to be positive, looking at the glass as half full, not half empty. He's a fighter, and he's not alone.
What is there tomorrow? I want it to be great. I want tomorrow to be great. I want tomorrow to be healthy. I want tomorrow to be, just enjoyable. But you know what? All we have is right now again, and that's why we try to make this moment as enjoyable as possible.
'Cause maybe someday we'll figure all this out. We'll put an end to all our doubt. Try to find a way to just feel better now. Maybe someday